Like grounding yourself to the energy, because we wear those plastic shoes on and on, whatever. And you feel better, right? I definitely am going to get one of those grounding mats that he was talking about too. But that kind of stuff to me feels like more like connected to God. I guess I like the idea of like, we're here, right? And if we're all from God and we're going back there anyways, well, then, figuring that all out is not what we're supposed to be doing here. We're supposed to be healing each other.
Right,
as
yeah.
awful as we all are.
Like technically down the road, the evolutionary chain, like we are to become our own like gods and stuff. But yeah, we're here to live the human experience. And I've heard that the human experience is like the school of hard knocks as far as the spiritual experiences. Like there's some experiences where it's just like not even, it's like semi-free will. It's just like choose column A, choose column B kind of thing. Or there's places where there's just like no free will. It's just like, this is an experience. Whereas this is like all free will, and there's a lot of weird paradoxes that come with it. As far as like people's rights. It's like you have a right to life, but when it comes right down to it, you've got the right to take a life. Like there's laws that say you don't, and obviously we shouldn't. We have morally understanding, but it's like everyone has the power to make life and take life. And
for sure.
Everything else.
Well, but who's to say though? Assisted suicide, is that wrong? Like, right? Like there's so many different levels. That's I'm always very scared nowadays to make very strong statements about things that could come back around in a very real way, because it is like I do think that's like we're supposed to remember who we like. I don't know. I think that whole movie, The Lion King, like the Disney version of it, was made with a little bit of God inspired, because that whole like thing, like Simba, remember who you are. Like I feel like every single time I'm like getting spun out or getting stressed out now, like I just like can hear James Earl Jones's voice in my head being like, remember who you are.
Just like
and
really
it's
internalize
really
the Leo identity of being like a cat, in the Lion King story. It's like, yes, I am Simba.
100%, right? But that whole thing, it's like that's what we're here to do, is to experience the things that we need to experience, but face it with grace, right, and kindness.
Yeah.
And the fastest way to do that is to like close your eyes and get connected to like that God piece of you on the inside, that soul that we all can feel, right? The thing that's behind the voice. It's never shuts up.
Yeah. Because, and it's almost like it's like
the watcher.
A bowl with like a marble in it, and like your thoughts are always moving the marble around the bowl. But then if you stop, and then you can like stop your thoughts, which is a failure of language, because you're not actually stopping your thoughts, you're observing your thoughts until they stop. And then
you're sitting back into the watcher.
Yeah, then you observe
who you
the observer.
Really are.
Then you observe the observer, and then you get this chain reaction of observers until you kind of fall into this, like, I guess,
you're like, nothing matters.
yes. But, like, in a good way. No, is it in a neutral way? I don't know. It's, like, a neutrally good. I don't know how to describe it,
Yeah.
I've also had...
There's love there, though, right? Like, you can feel that. Like, it's like you decide to say your next thing, Dad, make your next move out of, like, a love position. We're going to have puppies, right? Like, we want to breed her. So this is her, like, she's, like, going through puberty right now.
Whoa.
I can't remember the last time I didn't get one of my animals spayed or neutered. So this has been quite the experience. The diapers should be here from Amazon today, though. So
Diapers
for the dog,
Diapers, yeah. Wow. Are you still going to get your crazy cat or what?
Well, yes. I'm definitely going to have a period where I'm doing the savannas. But I've been doing more research into countries that you can live in and have much bigger cats legally, actually. And I think my heart is set on owning a cheetah one day, honestly.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. We have this idea about the oasis. Like, it's the faraway dream that Jesse and I always talk about, Jesse, my husband. Mm-hmm. And that really hot guy that I got to marry. But we want to build this like giant, we wanted to do like a big indoor greenhouse here, like massive garden, like waterfall indoor thing, right? And it would be like, we'd grow food and like have this great ecosystem and whatever. But if I do in other countries, I could own cheetahs.
Yeah, if you just move down to like Costa Rica, then you don't need to like have a greenhouse, because
I don't need to have a greenhouse. I can just do it outside.
It is a greenhouse, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe Mexico or like Belize, or there's lots of different countries that like I could have a tiger if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But the more research that I've done, I didn't know this, but cheetahs have been domesticated for like a really, really long time.
Oh, really?
Longer than like most other big cats. And they very, very rarely attack humans in the wild. They're not really aggressive to humans because they don't weigh very much. The average human weighs more than the average cheetah. They can run really fast because they're super light, right? And they're cats, and cats understand what they can eat and what they can't.
Right.
So they're pretty safe to have. And if you get them as kittens, they're like,
That's epic. And to breed or just to have a cheetah?
Oh, I think I would probably like get 2 kittens at once. I don't know if I would get litter mates or I'd try to get them from different ones so they could breed. I'm not really sure, but I think like for sure just get 2 kittens and maybe get like a puppy at the same time, you know? Yeah. And then they can all just grow up together and I'll make TikToks.
Yeah, sure. TikToks. Yeah, why not?
I've never been on TikTok, but
that'd be crazy. Cats, big cats.
Yeah, big cats.
They say that like cats actually rule the world and we're their servants, right?
Yeah, they're apparently the only animal that ever domesticated themselves.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they just kind of like saw people and like what they were about, and they figured it out. They don't meow at each other like they meow on their kittens, but that like cats meowing is actually something that they only do to humans.
Yeah.
To manipulate us.
Yeah. Like, feed me, I sound like a crying baby.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the sound that they tried to mimic. Like, they're that smart, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And kitties are awesome. I love kitties.
Yeah, I don't want to get any... I'd like... April will ask about getting an Octavia, like a cat or a dog or whatever. And I was like, I will not get any more animals until we live on a farm. It's like, if we get a dog, it's going to be a working dog. If we get a cat, it's going to be protecting chickens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. We're all topped up for animals over here, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much. Do you have any animals right now?
No.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Got,
I mean,
the
cats,
Eden.
I guess you're like cats if they domesticated themselves, which is like really like they domesticated us, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
I'm sure that's how they see it.
Yeah. No. You see that meme where there's a lot of like average day cat, and there's like one of those massive Savannah cats, and it's like Savannah cat's like, do they still worship us, child? And the little cat's like, well, they clean up my poop, and they're like, excellent.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, they. I think they're gonna be good. I like my little Bengal that I've got now. He's definitely the reason I want to like go bigger, go badder. You know, get the Savannah cats and breed them and tra-la-la.
So we were talking about God, and you're talking about nature, and how you like to commune with God and nature, and that is called pantheism.
Pantheism.
Yeah, pan being like everything, and kind of like literally the word means everything is God.
Yeah, I would align with that, I would say.
Yeah. But also, I guess there's a perspective where it's like, it's the infinite perspective, when you accept everyone else's perspective as being valid in some way.
Yeah.
And it's like, because I've always tried to reconcile, like, the theology that I grew up with the spirituality that I learned from all the New Agey stuff. And it's like, the way my brain synthesized those two is like, angels, aliens. Same thing. That's how I figured it out. I mean, I don't know, I didn't necessarily say figured it out, but I feel like that would be the Venn diagram of those, if I was to try to put those two, theologies together.
Yeah, exactly.
I think angels or aliens, I think that sums a lot of it up. Also,
I was going to say, there's
ETs,
a lot of research towards that, too.
Yeah,
right?
There's like ETs, like extraterrestrials, extra dimensionals, and I feel like aliens fall into all those categories.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but even to what you had said previously, too, about the different levels, right, of God.
Right. And
it's the same thing with this.
Like the Yahwehs of the world, like a lot of even the creatures that in our mythology we call gods are like not the big G God. They're like a small G God. They're like maybe a step up from us as far as some spiritual hierarchy, but like, or maybe more advanced in certain ways. But I've also heard that the human like DNA skin suit is like one of the most advanced things out there. And while aliens are like interested in us and more advanced in certain technological ways, like spiritually and emotionally, like we've got it. Like they're trying to figure us out because we have this divine source connection through these bodies that they don't have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that there is space for that for sure. You know, if everything that is created of matter is that light, right? It is still somehow like a descendant. Well, you know, maybe they're chasing after something that they have.
Yeah, or something they used to have, kind of thing. Like there's stories about different there's different ET races, like the Greys, that, and we're on like the verge of doing this technologically right now. Kind of transhumanism essentially, but they cloned themselves over and over and over and like test tube babies to the point that like they stopped developing sex organs because it was all done mechanically. And then after doing that generation after generation, they eventually their DNA code started to break down, and they needed better DNA to like keep them alive. And this is one of the things that it's one of these like
we are that farm.
Oh, exactly, yeah, exactly that. That's one of those things that like the truth that can never be told kind of thing. And what people call for disclosure, and it's like, you know, do aliens exist? Oh, we saw a UFO. Like the government's surely they're like, oh, look at this UFO. They're like, UFOs are real. The government will tell you that, but they can't tell you about, you know, the DNA trade because, well, they've been in on it and haven't been very good stewards of the human race. You know, they weren't very good. What would you say the word is? Diplomats. They kind of sold us out to the highest bidder. Which, a capitalist part of me says, like, I guess if we're going to trade DNA, might as well get the best price for it. But, I mean, I don't know.
Well, we would all have to be in on the decision then.
It's like, the question is, like, and are we talking about, like, a hair sample, or are we talking about just, like, literal, like, slave trade? You know, there's degrees to how you could have a marketplace for DNA. And I guess
I think all of that already exists.
Yeah, we can exclude this from the universe and bring it back to Earth, and like we're already trying to deal with those conundrums right now. I don't think they're conundrums yet, but I think down the road, like giving your DNA sequence to whatever corporation to tell you what part of the Earth you came from could end up backfiring in tragic ways.
Yeah. Well, I've given away some of my DNA to. What's it called? 24andMe or 32andMe?
23andMe, I think. 23, isn't it? Because there's 23 chromosomes. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. There we go. 23andMe. You got it. I did do that.
Yeah, Martina.
I don't know if you remember this, but sorry?
Martina did it too.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but I used to celebrate St. Patrick's Day heavily because of how Irish I am. Mm-hmm. Not Irish at all. Actually, come to find out, 23andMe. I've got more Russian in me than I do Irish.
Oh, wow.
So.
Cool. All right, yeah,
I'm basically just
very
European.
Broad. It was just like Northern European. That was the definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like from like all over Europe, except for Ireland. Like everywhere but Ireland.
Yeah.
Like I was like, Mom, I was like, you got us so into this. She'd make us dress up every year. It was like a whole thing. She's not Irish either.
Yeah, Julian had a ginger. So I think we do have Irish in us. And I get red hairs in my beard, in my hair now and then. But
it might be Scottish. I've got more Scottish in me than I do Irish.
I've got Scottish for sure, yeah. Oh man, you ever see the show Water Horse?
No.
It's about this Scottish kid that finds this special egg that grows into this water horse, which is essentially the Loch Ness Monster. But if you watch the movie, there's like one scene where the camera pans across this like destroyed castle, and that destroyed castle is Urquhart's castle, which is my mother's maiden name kind of thing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I would watch that. There was a movie that was actually shot out here in BC that came out when we were kids. I think it was called Magic on the Water or something.
Yeah.
Magic in the Water. I can't remember. Anyways, it was filmed on the Okanagan. And we were out there when we were kids and we saw the big fake monster that they used in the movie. It was pretty sweet. Kind of ruined the movie, but...
Oh yeah, as far as aliens and the disclosure and DNA selling,